Think about the last time you sat down to a steaming bowl of soup, ramen, or a freshly boiled stew. For many people, a hot meal is the very definition of comfort. The warmth, the aroma, the satisfaction of food that heats you from the inside out. But there is something happening inside your body every time you swallow that scalding liquid that most people have never been warned about. And that silence has a cost. Large-scale population studies, tracking hundreds of thousands of people over many years, have reached a consistent and sobering conclusion. People who habitually consume beverages or food at temperatures above 65 degrees Celsius face an esophageal cancer risk that is 5 to 8 times higher than those who let their food cool first. Not marginally higher, 5 to 8 times. And the cancer this habit contributes to is one of the most dangerous ones you can develop, precisely because it gives almost no warning until it is already advanced. Let me explain exactly what is happening inside your esophagus. Every time you drink something scalding hot, your esophagus is a muscular tube roughly 25 to 30 centimeters long that carries food from your mouth to your stomach. Unlike your stomach, which has a thick mucus lining that protects it from powerful acid, your esophagus is lined with thin, delicate squamous epithelial cells. These cells have very limited protection against physical and thermal stress. When you swallow liquid above 65 degrees Celsius, it flows across the entire inner surface of your esophagus within seconds. At that temperature, direct contact causes cellular heat damage to the lining. Your body responds by triggering rapid cell regeneration to repair the burned tissue. One time, this is manageable. Your cells repair and recover. The problem is repetition. Every time those cells are damaged and forced to regenerate, your DNA is copied through cell division. The more frequently cells divide under stress conditions, the greater the probability of replication errors, which means genetic mutations. Thermal damage creates a state of chronic inflammation in the esophageal lining. Chronic inflammation is a well-documented driver of cancer progression because it creates a constant environment of cellular stress, elevated immune signaling, and genomic instability. Over months and years, this cycle of burn, repair accumulates mutations until a normal cell transforms into a cancerous one. This is the direct biological mechanism connecting hot food habits to esophageal squamous cell carcinoma. The global agency dedicated to cancer research has officially classified drinking very hot beverages above 65 degrees Celsius as a probable human carcinogen. Based on this accumulated evidence, one study found that drinking tea above 60 degrees Celsius increased esophageal cancer incidence by 90%. Another found that people who waited only 2 minutes before drinking hot tea had significantly higher rates of esophageal cancer than those who waited 6 minutes. The difference was simply how long they paused before drinking. Why is esophageal cancer so dangerous once it develops? Because it has almost no symptoms in its early stages. The esophagus does not have the same density of pain receptors as the stomach. As the lining slowly damages, inflames, and transforms, you feel nothing. By the time most people notice anything, usually difficulty swallowing, mild chest discomfort, or unexplained weight loss, the cancer is often already in an advanced stage. The 5-year survival rate for esophageal cancer overall sits at roughly 40%. But when caught while still confined to the esophagus itself, that survival rate rises to over 75%. This gap makes prevention not just important but urgent. Some risk factors dramatically amplify the danger of hot food consumption. Smoking damages esophageal tissue through a separate mechanism, and when combined with regular hot food intake, the two risks do not simply add together. They multiply. Alcohol has a similar compounding effect. It increases the permeability of the esophageal lining, meaning carcinogens and thermal damage penetrate more deeply into the tissue. People who smoke, drink alcohol regularly, and consume very hot food daily face a risk elevation that can exceed 10 to 20 times baseline levels. Gastroesophageal reflux disease, commonly known as GERD, is another amplifying factor. When stomach acid repeatedly damages the esophageal lining, adding thermal injury from hot food creates a compounding assault on already compromised tissue. That can accelerate progression to Barrett's esophagus, a known precancerous condition. Now let us talk about the practical reality. How hot are the foods most people eat every day? Freshly cooked instant ramen broth sits at approximately 85 to 90 degrees Celsius. Right after preparation, a hot Korean doenjang jjigae or soup served in a stone pot often exceeds 85 degrees. A freshly poured cup of coffee from a coffee machine typically reaches 80 to 85 degrees. All of these are well above the 65-degree threshold. The moment most people describe a bowl of soup as deliciously hot, they are almost certainly consuming it at a temperature that stresses the esophageal lining. Here is the good news. The solution is strikingly simple. You do not need to give up hot food. You need to wait. Waiting just 3 to 5 minutes after serving hot soup or stew brings the temperature down from the danger zone to a safe range. Waiting 5 minutes drops a typical bowl of soup from roughly 85 degrees to below 60 degrees in most cases. That 5-minute pause is the entire intervention. One study confirmed that every additional minute of waiting before consuming hot tea reduced esophageal cancer risk measurably. The longer you wait, the lower the temperature, the lower the risk. Taking smaller sips with a spoon rather than drinking directly from the bowl reduces the volume of hot liquid contacting the esophageal lining at once. Removing lids from pots and stone bowls immediately when they arrive at the table accelerates cooling. Blowing gently on a spoonful before swallowing, something most children are taught to do, is an effective temperature reduction habit that adults tend to abandon. These are not complicated lifestyle changes. They are seconds-long behavioral adjustments with meaningful, long-term consequences. Choosing steamed or braised dishes more frequently also reduces esophageal heat exposure. Steamed fish, braised vegetables, and similar preparations cool faster and involve less continuous consumption of hot liquid compared to soup-based dishes. For those over 50, particularly those who smoke or drink alcohol regularly, scheduling regular upper endoscopy examinations is strongly recommended. Esophageal cancer is highly detectable via endoscopy at early stages when treatment outcomes are excellent. Since most stomach endoscopy procedures also visualize the esophagus, regular checkups provide coverage for both organs simultaneously. A few specific warnings. Anyone with GERD should treat esophageal heat protection as a medical priority, not just a preference. Hot food dramatically worsens existing mucosal damage from acid reflux. Pregnant women should note that esophageal sensitivity often increases during pregnancy, making careful temperature management of food and drinks especially important. Anyone who has experienced persistent difficulty swallowing, a sensation of food sticking in the chest, or unexplained weight loss should seek immediate medical evaluation. These are the warning signs that esophageal cancer rarely provides in time. Do not wait for them to resolve on their own. Here is your 7-day plan. On days 1 and 2, simply become aware of the temperature of your food before you eat. Notice how often you begin eating within the first minute of serving. On day 3, start the 3-minute wait habit with every hot bowl or cup you serve yourself. On day 4, begin removing lids from stone pots and bowls as soon as they arrive at the table. On day 5, switch to using a spoon for all hot liquids, rather than drinking directly from the bowl. On day 6, try replacing one soup-based meal with a steamed or braised dish. On day 7, share this information with someone you eat with regularly. Your esophagus cannot feel the damage accumulating inside it. That is what makes this habit so dangerous and so invisible. But the moment you understand what is happening, you also realize that preventing it requires almost no effort. Just wait 5 minutes. Let the steam settle. Your food will still be warm and satisfying. Your esophagus will still be intact 20 years from now. If this video was useful to you, please like and subscribe, and share it with someone who loves hot soup. It could be the most important health tip they hear this year. We will see you in the next video.